Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advocated a system of government known as Afro-crazy, or Afro-crazy actually, that will take into consideration the culture, tradition and ways of life of Nigerians and Africans. He also declared support for the push by members of the House of Representatives to reintroduce the parliamentary system of government to reduce the high cost of governance in Nigeria. Well, Obasanjo made the suggestion during a meeting with some members of the legislature in Abuja, led by Kingsley Chinda, held behind closed doors. Well, joining us now for more on this is one of the members of the House of Reps promoting a return to the parliamentary system of government. Abdul Samad Dasuki, he represents Kebe Tambuwal Federal Constituency in Sokoto State. He's also a member of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Welcome. Thanks for joining us on News Night.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, Nigeria practiced a parliamentary system between 1960 and 1966, only 6 years. Why do we continue to go back and think that a system of government that was practiced for only 6 years compared to the presidential that's had quite a number of years, in already is better than what we're practicing now? What's the argument for it?
Well, thank you, but like you started, 6 years. You can tell about most of the fundamental developments we have seen or we're still seeing in Nigeria happen within those 5 or 6 years that you spoke about. And it wasn't the Nigerian people that took out the government. It was a military coup, so you know what that means. So it's not the people. And I mean, like I said earlier, that was what, our founding fathers, that was the foresight they had for us, where leaders can come together and build consensus to develop our people. And it was more transparent, it was more accountable. And after the Civil War, we were led into what we are practicing now, which is the presidential system of government. And lucky enough, today, by God's grace, the leader that led us into that system, by God's grace today, has mentioned that there's something fundamentally wrong with what we're practicing. So what are we practicing? It's something that is alien to African and to Nigerian. We have our own culture, we have our own tradition, we have our history, and that is how we should govern ourselves. Not somebody to bring what he believes is best for us, no. Nigeria, we are a pluralistic state. We need to look at our own peculiarities and make laws, to look at our own peculiarities. I mean, like I said earlier, a foundation for Nigeria from 1960 and 1966. As at today, we're still talking about in the northern part of the country, what Sir Ahmadu Bello did as the premier. And the South is the same thing. So, I mean, from then onwards, what can you say in the last, for example, let's say 25 years? By this May, we're talking about 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. But what are the dividends? Let's ask ourselves.
Because it's a question that is not rhetorical, it's a question that must be given an answer to. And as you placed it, it looks to us that 6 years wasn't enough for us to have even experienced the good inherent in a parliamentary system. But we still talk about so short a time compared to so long a time. So how do you ensure that others like yourself, especially those that are not on the same ship with you now, who are enjoying the presidential system or the pseudo-presidential system that we're practicing, to key into this, should I say, argument? Because if they do not see the reason for them to come in with you, you just might not get to where you're headed.
Well, I agree with you. This is not, this is a marathon. And what we believe needs to be done is enlightenment and educating the younger generation in particular. In the last couple of days, we had to bring up, kind of advocacy in all universities across the globe. We put in an essay competition where if you are in university, anywhere in the world, you should participate. Tell us, how best Nigeria can govern itself under a homegrown parliamentary system of government. And, we intend to get the best 100 essays, hopefully on the 1st of July, unveil them so that they come here together with some of the leaders that we've visited that strongly believe in what we're doing to have a national discourse July 1st. And hopefully from there on, we need to educate our people. Our people need to be enlightened. Even amongst our colleagues, there are some that are of the opinion that, look, what is this? People believe we just want to copy textbook, maybe like the British, and no, that's not what we're doing. We want to look at our own peculiarities and lay a solid foundation where there's transparency and accountability. You want leaders to sit before Nigeria or Nigerians on a weekly or daily basis. This is what we intend to do. This is what we're going to do. Go and execute it and come back a week after and say so has happened. For example, we are saying let's start with the local governments in 2027. What are we advocating is don't have an election of a chairman of a local government. Have election of only councillors. Give them their money 100%. Let people look at them, see what they do with the resources. Each and every kobo should be accounted for. You know, you want to see leaders that are staying. If you go across the country, leaders don't even, local government chairman, they don't even stay with their people. Hardly. Right. So you want the councillors and the chairman, whoever they elect, to stay within his constituency, work for his constituents, and justify whatever resources is coming to him. Then gradually, we now take it up, you know, to the national level. But what we are practicing today, you know, like we have said, and we're happy, President Obasanjo equally said it, we have an issue with our foundation as a nation. That's the reality.
You know, that's the problem. Yeah. Sorry, because a minute. That's the problem now, because I see that you've gone around. Yeah. And it's, well, it's a shock that almost everyone you've gone to see are past leaders who are not in the system at the moment. It would seem as if they were hard on by what is happening now, and that is why they're giving their support. Do you have anyone presently serving as a political leader that is supporting you apart from the lot in the National Assembly?
Well, we have to start from ourselves. We are, as of today, by God's grace, leaders as well. We're elected. And we could have decided to do otherwise. But we believe there's something wrong. We need to speak even while in the system. But like we said, we have looked at the leaders that were part of the First Republic. Now look, what is it that you had right? What is it? We need to learn. Because in order to move forward, we need to know where we're coming from. And some of us, we need to even educate ourselves better. And that's why we've decided to, stage by stage. Right. We have gotten to a point that now we need to interact with ourselves. We intend to have time to spend with the Nigerian Governors Forum. We intend to reach out to even our colleagues in the Senate for them to understand what we're doing.
But you know you can do all of that. Was it not Cassius who said the fault is not in our stars, but in ourselves? A thing takes on the character of its possessor, which means that whether you practice presidential form of government or military or, you know, parliamentary, the people, the practitioners themselves are the ones who must reflect on this system of government. Maybe that's what we're having. Maybe Nigeria needs a fundamental shift, you know, in terms of culture, in terms of our orientation, in a way that will reflect in whatever, you know, kind of governance that we choose. That's by the way. There's the argument that the parliamentary system would not work for a country like Nigeria because, number one, the prime minister, you know, when he emerges, represents his own section of the country. And for a country like Nigeria, you need somebody who will represent, you know, the whole and not the part.
Well, let me take you back to what I said earlier. What we're talking about is a homegrown system. We have our own peculiarities. What you're talking about maybe the British. We're not even looking at that. What we're saying, it doesn't even have to be what we're saying. But we know there's something fundamentally wrong with what is actually going on with the system. So we have the opinion that you and I, or leaders, let's sit down together. Let's have a consensus. Let's look at our major peculiarities. Look at what divides us. How can we come together? How can we talk based on our own peculiarities and see how can we have
what are those peculiarities? Don't you think it's simply that Nigerians really have no longer buy in to the Nigerian project?
Well, people are losing hope. We can't take that away because of the issues that are before us every single day. Life is very difficult in Nigeria, but we today as leaders, we believe it can be better. We need to believe and we need to work towards making things work. Our peculiarities are there, you know, the issues of religion, they always divide us. We need to have a platform to come together and understand ourselves in the best interest of our people. And that is possible, that is achievable. You can see us in the house. We are pan-Nigeria. Well, across all parties coming together to believe something is fundamentally wrong. And like I said, you know, I was very happy today with
President. You said that a number of times. Something is fundamentally wrong. What's fundamentally wrong? Very quickly before we wrap.
The way we go about our system, the corruption, the non-transparency, no accountability, where you have a leader who is elected today, doesn't speak to the people, only spokesmen speak to the people. You don't want to have that. You want to elect a leader and see him on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Tell him this is what I've done or this is what I'm going to do.
And this push is not about the opposition, right?
No, it's not. It didn't start today. Some of us that were in the 8th Assembly, as far back as 2015, 16, we started it. But as God will have it, some of us were not there in the 2019, 23, but we're back and now.
If there's anything I love is when you said it's a marathon, it's a long one.
That's right.
It's not a dash, and that's why I'm excited, because we'll have this conversation again. We'd like to have you back, and so that we can talk and expatiate on what you've been able to glean from these students specifically that are talking about this. Practice-Dasuki, many thanks for speaking with us, a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives.